Okay, so today's job was in Mosman, and this particular house had gutter guard installed, and unfortunately what had happened is that moss had started to grow underneath the guttering. So the guys don't tell you this when they install these gutter guards, that they really do need to be kept regularly cleaned. If you don't flush them out, then it creates a perfect environment for moss to grow, because they've got a bit of shade there with the grill cover that's over them. And there's a bit of moisture that lingers around, especially if you've got an older guttering. There'll be like pockets of moisture and then they just bloom from there. So this one, as you'll see in the video, just had moss like throughout the whole system. So I had to unscrew it, so you'll see how I did it. But yeah, basically you just got to be careful with these gutter guards. If you've got a gutter guard, you still need to pay someone to come around at least once a year to come and actually flush the whole system out to make sure there's no moss blooming around inside there. Otherwise, like this particular job cost the customer about $500 to get it cleaned out, because it takes quite a long time. You'll see how the method that I use to clean.
Okay, so first of all I've got to take off these brackets. So the brackets have to come off. So it's attached to your gutters by the guys. When they installed them, they screwed them into the edge of the gutter with these little bracket things, and it's slipped underneath the second row of tiles. It's secured in like that. So yeah, first I've just got to go and take all of that apart neatly and keep track of which ones you've taken off, because they've all been pre-drilled, so you have to remember which ones you took off and keep them in an order to put them back on. So yeah, let's take a look under here. So unfortunately this stuff is hidden, so you can't see, you probably don't even know if you've got this moss growing. It could be growing in your gutters right now if you have this gutter guard. But yeah, it's great at hiding imperfections with your guttering, this gutter guard. So you need to keep it regularly cleaned as well. But yeah, if you live at a house that's basically got a branch of a tree hanging over your gutter, then I understand, yeah, you should get gutter guard. Like it makes sense, but you still have to clean it. This is a bucket full of stuff. It's like all soily sand, mud. This was a dry day, so it wasn't mud, luckily. It was just soil. But yeah, the moss just then creates all the soil inside the guttering, and it's a nightmare. So here's, like you're seeing, before and after shots, nicely cleaned out. There's a bit of a moss Vegas. So quite a lot of moss, perfect conditions for the moss, especially if there's a bit of shade around, and then the gutter guard provides the shade. So just pay someone yearly to give it a really good clean out. So even though the guys might have told you, oh, you don't have to clean your gutters again, unfortunately you do. So stuff just gets underneath there. There's a little bush growing out of there as well. So you still have to take it apart and put it back together neatly. But yeah, these are the more expensive cleans when it has to get done in this method, because as you can understand, it takes a lot more time than a regular clean to get results like this. So yeah, if you need someone, if you suspect there's a problem with your guard, you can see that there's stuff overflowing, then just fill in the form and I'll call you to set up a free quote. I'll come and take a look at what's the best way to solve the problem for you. So there's the before and after. So this is what you can expect if I come around to clean your gutters. They'll be perfectly clean at the end. So I just put it back together there. That's me drilling them back in.